It's time for
Oyeyimika Adeboye joined the board of Cadbury Nigeria plc as Finance and Strategy Director in November 2008. She was appointed as Managing Director of Cadbury Nigeria plc on 1st April 2019 and Cluster Director of Mondelez International West Africa on 1st July 2019. Mrs. Adeboye is also a director on the board of Cadbury Ghana Limited. Prior to joining the Mondelez International Group, Mrs. Adeboye was the Chief Financial Officer and Director of Finance at the Nigerian Bottling Company plc, NBC. Mrs. Adeboye worked for the Nigeria accounting practice of the erstwhile accounting firm of Arthur Anderson & Co. and Company and the United Kingdom accounting practice of Migley Snelling & Co. and Company, Chartered Accountants, where she also trained as an articled clerk after graduating with a bachelor's degree in Economics and Social Studies from University College, Cardiff, Wales. Mrs. Adeboye is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales and a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Nigeria. Mrs. Adeboye is a member of the board of Odutola Holdings Limited, a family-owned group of companies. She is also a member of the Board of Trustees of the Timothy Adeola Odutola Foundation, a family-owned philanthropic foundation set up for the purpose of providing educational, industrial, and technological development of Nigerian youths who may be unable to gain access to higher education. As part of her philanthropic work, Mrs. Adeboye is a member of the Board of Trustees YEO Foundation, which provides various initiatives to empower less privileged women. She also contributes her time to partner with Handmaidens Wheels, a Christian NGO which seeks to mentor and empower professional women along an ethical career path. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Oyeyimika Adeboye.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think Kate is a hard one to follow, so you have to forgive me, She's a pro, I'm an amateur, but I'll try. I will try. Thank you so much, Izene and the SheCan team for inviting me today. It's really a privilege to be here. It's a full house. She did say 500 to 1,000 women. And then a couple of days ago when I called her, she said, we have over 2,000 people registered. And online, and international, on YouTube, on all sorts of things. I said, okay, I'm going international. So thank you, SheCan, for putting me out there in that space. So the way I want to do this is probably similar. You've heard a lot from the speakers before me. So I will try and not repeat what they've said, but I'll use my story to do this. For anyone that may know my story, I come from a very large family. My late father, Timothy Adeola Odutola, was an industrialist. And I can talk about my father for my 20 minutes, so I don't think I should do that. Large family, I had many mothers, I still have many mothers. Many siblings, child number 21. It's always good to put things in context. So child number 21 of 27 children. So today I have siblings that are 89, 90. I have siblings, my youngest, my brother is 42. He's the last in the family. So it's a big family. So growing up, in a big family, I didn't need to have friends outside, and my father made sure that we didn't. He didn't want us going out anyway. So we spent all our time in Adeboye at home. And, I went to school. My late father also set up schools. Was very disciplined. He was disciplinarian, and education was important to him. So he set up school, Adeola Odutola College, Adeola Odutola Elementary School. I went to the elementary school and proceeded to go to Adeola Odutola College. Well, my mother figured that I wasn't going to be in a boarding school as Propa's daughter because the teachers might not be treating me like a student. So she promptly got me into Federal Government College, Ulugbolu, into boarding school, and that's another story, but tough, So ended up in boarding school, and then a few years later, after O-levels, family tradition, went to school in England. I always wanted to be an accountant because in my father's factory, the accountant seemed to be the guy in the suit, the smartest of the lot. The rest of the people were like in overalls and they looked very dirty. And I figured that, look, I like that kind of job. Also, when I looked at my siblings, we had too many lawyers and doctors and professors. So I needed to do something different. So I wanted to be an accountant and went to Cardiff and studied economics and accounting. Graduated from Cardiff. Normal story, you go and do your articles in a firm, you start working in a firm. And then, a few years later, my father said, come, this is England you are sitting in. You're not getting married. Everybody's getting married. You're sitting there collecting salary. And I think for me, the important thing was, while he was doing that, I believe God also had my back. Because I was growing in my career in the firm, and I really wanted to stay in England. It was a nice, when you have a comfort zone and everything's all nice and cozy, you get up, you get on the bus, you go to work, you come back, you have your life organized. I didn't want Nigeria, generator, when it doesn't want traffic, all sorts of nasty things. When my friends who went back to Nigeria, when they speak to me, they tell me things that I just didn't like. So I didn't really want to go back to Nigeria. But as God will have it, we had, when you work in a firm in England, every Christmas they do big party, a Christmas party. And English people, once they've had 2 or 3 glasses, they start talking. One of the senior managers in the firm, and I was growing very well. I was already a manager, good salary. I had a company car. I was living free in my father's house. So I had plenty of cash to do things with. So I said to her, Judith, she drives a Porsche. She has a house in Weybridge. She has all sorts of things. So I said, why? They just made somebody partner. Why are you not partner? Because you joined the firm before this person. She laughed and threw her head in the back and said, Yimika, you will get it one day. This is an old traditional English firm. Look at all the partners in pinstripe suits. They don't make women partners. In my mind, I thought it doesn't matter now. I'll still earn good salary and I'll continue. But somebody said to me, you will now walk, and other people will come after you and they'll be partner. That was the first thing. I think, beyond being a woman, I'm also black. The only female and the only black person in the firm. Sorry, the only black female in the firm. Hi. Then I started remembering my father saying, come home, come home. And I thought, well, he'll be happy anyway, so let me start that process. So I started the process of coming home, spoke to a couple of firms, decided to join Arthur Andersen. And 2 years into my life in Arthur Andersen, I got approached by a Nigerian bottling company, bottlers of Coca-Cola. They said they were looking for somebody for finance. And I thought they were asking me to advise them. So I said, oh, no problem, I'll look for. After about 3 or 4 weeks, the guy called me and said, I'm asking you for what about you? I said, I'm still looking, I'm not interested. So you're not interested? I said, I don't think that's me. I'm a consultant. I said, why don't you try it? If you don't like it, your firm likes you anyway. That's how I ended up in NBC. And today is the story. I rose from being what they called in those days divisional executive finance. You do reporting to becoming the CFO of the company. And then, I got headhunted by Cadbury. Given the time, I can't really tell you about how I got headhunted by Cadbury. I think the important thing is that at the time when I got headhunted by Cadbury, the interesting thing is Cadbury had just gone through a financial misstatement. And I was wondering, why would they want to take me? And I think the important thing is also to understand what is behind that. For me to go to Cadbury, it's a smaller company compared to NBC. But what attracted me was when we spoke, the few people that interviewed me, a lot of people came from UK. I was flown to South Africa. But every time, the consistent, I said, people have just gone through a financial misstatement with a Nigerian FD and a Nigerian MD. Why would you want to hire another Nigerian? And the guy said, this is not about Nigerians. It's about human beings. It could happen anywhere in the world. We believe you. Because also I thought myself, well, multinationals, when they recruit, when they're looking for people, Nigerian law says that you must prove that you can't find a Nigerian to do the job. So I thought, oh, I'm just one of the statistics, After a while, they would say, oh, they couldn't find a Nigerian. But the guy said, no, we believe you're the best person for the job. We know you can do the job, and we'll hire you. And that's how I ended up joining Cadbury, a few other companies that approached me, but I just felt they were so authentic and so original. Plus, a lot of people that I spoke with, too, in the company had worked there for years and hadn't left. People were like, when you speak to somebody, I've been here for 10 years, 15 years. For people to stay that long, there must be something in the company. People are not leaving every 2, 3, 4 years. Bola, hi, I just spotted you. People were not leaving very quickly. So I figured this was the reality for me. So I joined Cadbury, and just in terms of what I wanted to do. When I was in NBC, I kept saying, and for me it was very important, when you have career conversations, please make sure you're authentic. Every time I had my career conversation, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a general manager. You can't, Yimika, you're an accountant. You're a very good finance person. In fact, in my 13 years in NBC, my job just got bigger and bigger. From finance, legal started reporting to me, insurance started reporting to me, IT started reporting to me. I just got bigger and bigger as a finance person. And I sort of figured, I want to do, working with 4 CEOs. CEOs that tell me, I can't do this without you. I need you. I'm not going to this meeting without you. I was following people around the place, like handbag. They want to make a decision. You look at me, what do you think? And I'm thinking, if you are turning around to me, surely I can do this. So in my career conversation, I was adamant but Oyeyimika, you're good in finance. You know, there are regional roles available. You know, multinationals, because you have branches across the world, there are big opportunities. But I kept saying, no, that's not what I want. I don't want to retire as a finance person. You know, a lot of my colleagues used to laugh when I say that. I'm not going to retire as a finance director. I want to retire being a general manager. I left NBC without that being fulfilled. When I joined Cadbury as CFO, finance director, first year career conversation, Oyeyimika, where do you see yourself in 5 years? MD. I remember somebody saying to me, yeah, you know, politely smiling and saying, yeah, that's good aspiration. But you don't have any commercial experience. You don't have any sales experience. You don't have any marketing experience. To head a multinational that is a consumer goods multinational, you have to have this experience. So I said, okay, no problem. What do I need to do? Well, every time I say, what do I need to do? Okay, well, we'll map something out for you. Year 1, year 2. After year 3, I carried on asking, you know, what do you want to do? I want to be MD. I want to be a general manager. And then I had what I call the fortune to have leaders who saw not just that I had the passion, but I was practical about it. I didn't sit in my factory, in my office in air conditioning. I went to the office in trainers. I wore jeans. I wore T-shirts. And I did it consistently. I went into the factory. When the salesmen are going to sell, I follow. I always went on the field. You sell across Nigeria. You enter bus. You enter trailer. You enter airplane. You will sit in a thing with 3 men, squeezed you in the middle. Yes, that's what I want to do, and I'm not going to stop doing this. And I was very sure that this is what I wanted. I also was very particular about how I handled, as a finance person, opportunity. I had, in a company, everybody needs a finance person, even if it's just to collect your salary. We're the ones that are going to. So I knew that everyone needed to connect with me. But I didn't take that as my role and sit there. So if somebody comes and says, we need to buy a machine, please approve. I'll say, take me to the machine. We want to repair this thing. Let me see it. I had no clue. What does it do? Oh, it does this, but it doesn't work anymore. What happened? Why did it stop working? So I understood a lot more. Sales, the same thing. I went out. I went on the field. I followed salespeople around. So when people say, oh, you don't have commercial experience, and I said, oh, but I'm doing this. Okay, so what do you want to do? I was given the opportunity to work with salespeople. All of them were junior to me. But the one thing I kept saying is when they say, madam, please don't call me madam, because you're aging me. Don't call me madam. Just show me what I need to do. Just take me there, show me what I need to do. When they go to customers, I listen. When they're selling, and selling is not easy. Honestly, if somebody told me I could sell, I'll say I could not sell for a living, because selling is not easy. It's, you know, the people that are professional at it make it look easy, but it's not easy. You go to a customer, you're trying to sell them something, and they turn it and ask you, you're selling food. And by the way, it's not an essential. It's not gari, it's not bread. I'm selling Bonvita, I'm selling Tom Tom, I'm selling Clorette gum, not rice, not things that people need. And I'm selling it to people who I know for sure that if they had a choice, they would take their money and buy something else. And I have to convince them that you need to buy my product. So, you know, going out with the salespeople and learning from them, then landed me the opportunity to work with the team on a project. And I was still doing my day job, so I was still finance director. It wasn't like, oh, you're going to go on this project, therefore we'll let you or somebody will do your job. No, we call it double hatting in my business. Double hatting means you do more and get the same pay. But I was willing to do that because I felt if I really want to do this GM job, I need to prove that I can do that. And, you know, it really helped me. People kept asking me, you know, at that point, you know, what are you trying to do? I just want to learn and understand. I was invited to talk to some marketing people about a year before COVID, so 2 years ago. And the person that introduced me was my colleague in NBC. So what I'm talking about is not something I started doing in Cadbury, something I'd been doing even when I was in NBC. And he's, you know, when he introduced me, he said, you know, he was marketing director in NBC. And he said he remembered every time he brought a marketing proposal to me, I would sit him down and I would ask him so many questions. And his mind is thinking, just to approve the money. Why are you asking these questions? Then after a while, he started thinking, oh, is this girl trying to get my job? You know, so when he introduced me, he said, you know, there's somebody that is intentional about what she wants. She'd been trying to learn this thing many years. I worked in NBC for 13 years. And I worked, now I'm telling my age, aren't I? And I worked in Cadbury now, this is my 13th year, you know? And all of that time, I've worked 4 CEOs in NBC, 4 CEOs in Cadbury. You know? Don't give up on what you want. I was very sure what I wanted. It didn't matter. I had CEOs who are junior to me. When I say junior to me, not in age, in terms of the last CEO that I reported to was actually the one that would recommend me for this job. And it was my marketing colleague. So when I was finance director, he was head of marketing. Okay, he was marketing director. So when he was brought back as an expatriate to become the MD, the first thing he did, he came to my office and he said, "Oyeyimika, I'm so sorry." I said, "Why are you sorry?" He said, "I know you can do this job better than me, but I'm the one that's been given this job, but I need your help." And I said to him, "You have 100%. And he was uncomfortable for a while, but I said to him, "Don't worry, there's no, I know you can do this job. You know I can do this job. So let's work together and make this a success." At the end of the day, as an expat, you will leave Nigeria, I'll be here. So it's in my interest to ensure that this company succeeds. So took on the role, was appointed CEO of Cadbury. And I think, when I look back and look at my journey of how did I get here and what were the things that I did, I think it was Belinda that was talking about, you were talking about your baby and bringing out your baby. When you said that, I remembered something. Many years into my early career in NBC, our corporate office was in Athens, and I just had my baby, my first daughter, and I had to go for a meeting in Athens, and I was nursing. And I had a choice of leaving my daughter at home with mommy or taking my daughter. She was 3 months. And I said to my boss then, I said, "John, I can't go for this meeting because I'm nursing." Irish man, very friendly, said, "What do you need?" I said, "What do you need?" "You take the baby. What do you need to take the baby?" I said, "I'll take the baby." He said, "Yeah, we'll pay." Why did he say that? He needed me. Thank you, Kate. He recognized that I still need to go, baby or no baby. I had baby here. No, I had baby here. I used one of those things. I had backpack here, got on BA and went to Athens. Bumped into two people. I remember they always tell the story of how they saw me with a baby and she was feeding and I was like this. I went for my meeting, 4 days, in a hotel, the company, and people, when I say this, people say, "Oh, you're there because you're," I was not a leader, okay? Remember, I just joined the company, but I was leading. Thank you. And they recognized that I could do this job. I went the first time with this baby. It was not easy. I would go for meetings. I'll come back during the break, feed the baby, express, go back for meeting. There was a nanny, hotel nanny that was looking after the baby in the evening. When everybody's going for their drink, I go to baby. Talking about drinks, you also have to be, what's the word now? You have to be deliberate too in terms of your, what I call social skills. So one day I was called and I said, "I'm a Christian." Okay, guys, I'm a Christian. So I don't drink and I don't smoke. I'm the only woman in the team. And the only one in the team, this is NBC, of about leadership team of 8, 4 or 5 expatriates, 2 Irish who drink. They drink like water. They would go after meetings to drink, and I would go to my room because I don't drink. So doing my appraisal, performance appraisal, the only thing I wasn't doing right, "You don't join us. Oyeyimika, you always go." Then I said, "I don't like the smell of cigarette on my body. I don't drink." He said, "You will come, you will drink orange juice, you will gist with us, and when we go to bed at 1 a.m., you will go." So first time I thought, I'm not going to do this. And I remember what I said I wanted to do. So next I said, "We're all going for drinks." I carried myself, sat down, and you will not believe it, I fell asleep. At 10:30, on the dinner table, we just finished eating, and they were all talking. I was really trying. I was using everything to keep it, my eyes. Nature said, "This is not you." I fell asleep. John, my boss, pinched me and said, "Get up, get up." So I got up, and I carried on. I didn't like it, but I knew that this is the price you pay to be a leader. And I look back and I say to myself, what are the things that I can share with these people here today? These young ladies here today. Some may know this thing, some may not. I'm mindful of time. And I listed a few things. Be sure of what you want to do. If you're like me, don't stop praying about it. That was one thing I did. I prayed tired. In fact, I kept saying I'm sure God was tired of this prayer. That was why after 8 CEOs, he said, "Okay, now your turn. Awalokan." Be dogged about it and ensure you get relevant exposure. I was ready to do work that ordinarily people will say, "You're finance, don't do." Like I said, career conversations, you became a finance person. What are you doing trying to learn sales? Get all the training and exposure and experience that you can get. But be careful. All my career, I sit in panels of interviews. Kate was talking about panel then, I smiled. And 9 out of 10 men that come for interviews, they don't have the qualification, but they're ready to put themselves forward. 1 out of 10 women that come, they will say, oh, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. They would have gone and gotten all the qualification plus more that you don't need. By the time you are coming, you're already 40-something. Meanwhile, there are 30-something and 20-something-year-old boys there who are also applying for the same job. Don't do that. Something else that Belinda said, don't use your family situation as a hindrance. I know it's tough, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Just put yourself in the place where, we're very fortunate. Somebody said to me, how do you balance life? There's a word people use, life, work-life. Yes, how do you work-life balance. I always laugh at that because I just think, it's not something you plan to do. First of all, a lot of us are fortunate. We're in a society where we have the support system. I was reading Indra Nooyi's book, first female CEO of Pepsi. And I was reading things that resonated with me. She used her mother, she used her father, she used her brother, she used everybody that was volunteering, she used. Me, my husband, homework with the children. The children would come with maths homework. I had no idea about maths. My husband studied engineering, so I sent them to Ayo. Then he said, what about you, your arts? They don't have any arts that I can do. I have to start learning French just to save face, to say I'm doing something. I started learning French so I can help with French homework. But everything else, my husband volunteered. Let me be honest, he volunteered. Get the right partner. Billy said that. Sorry, I said Billy, Mrs. Awoshika said that. Make sure you marry, be intentional about who you marry. Don't go and marry somebody that is going to abandon you to do everything yourself. It's a partnership. My husband always was there for me. I call him my biggest cheerleader. My mother, my siblings, my sisters, my brother, everybody did something. It wasn't just that I did it all. In fact, most of the time I find I'm running into school conference meetings. My husband's already there. They're like 40 minutes into the meeting when I get in. But it's fine. Somebody's there. And don't feel bad about it, by the way. Don't feel bad about it. Something else I want to talk about. So I said have those career conversations. If you're working in a company, keep having those career. Don't give up on what you want to do. And then the other thing I want to say, ladies, it's not an entitlement. We don't have a right. Because everybody's talking gender, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people come and say, but you don't have women. By the way, Cadbury, we have 4 women, 4 men on our board. We're 50-50. And they're all competent, able women. Nobody got it because they were women or they're women. So what I'm saying to you is that don't feel that you're entitled to it. You've got to earn it. The day my mother came into my room and said, oh, did you know what they're saying in the newspaper that you are the first female MD of MD? One of Cadbury, it was the first time it clicked that I was or I am the first female. It never clicked. I was just focused on what I wanted, period. I didn't even think my gender mattered until I started getting these messages. That was my mother that actually drew my attention and said, have you seen what's in the newspapers? Just do what you need to do and do it well. To your best, Again, Ms. Awoshika talked about it. To the best of your ability. Do your best. What do I want to say? Yes, I said be ready to make sacrifices, but be mindful of your priorities. I want to talk about priorities. As a Christian, and as a mother, as a wife, there's some things in my own life that I know are important. When you're talking about work-life balance, so many things would try to tear you apart. You have to have your priorities. So I took my priorities right. I said, in any decision, in any situation I face, I stick my finger out and I say 3 things. The first thing is my faith, my God. So if anything at work is going to take that away from me, I'm really willing to give up that work. And I say it boldly, that as a Christian, if I have to compromise my faith, then it's not worth it. The second for me, also important, and this is my priority, is my husband. My children always go, why can't daddy be before us? I said, because people will leave me now. Small time now, you will find one man for my daughters or one woman for my son, and you will all leave me. And then I'll end up with daddy. So let me hold on to the one that God has given me for better, for worse, till death do us apart. I love you guys, but if my priorities are set right, you guys come after daddy. that is how it is. And then finally, my job. A lot of women do it the other way around. Job first, then God, then family. And if job asks you to do something, you will give up husband, children, everything, and run and face that job. If you are married or you're planning to marry, please don't do that. I say to people in my office, I say, look, we have to have a passion and we have to do this job the right way, but please always remember, God forbid, if something happens to you, recruitment, HR will bring somebody else. Okay? That's the reality of life. I'm an employer. I do it. So I can't hide from it. Oh, something happened to somebody. Oh dear. We do all this, visit the family. Sorry, we'll look after you, we'll help you with funeral, blah, blah, blah. As I'm getting in the car, HR is saying we have 7 CVs, we have this, and that. Life goes on. Guess what? Cadbury was before me. I will work here, I will leave Cadbury, and Cadbury will be after me. So I've got to remember that. And when it's time to retire, you would leave and go and retire with your merry husband. So you better love your husband before you retire. Because if you don't love him before you retire, when you retire, voila, wow. Talking about husband and children. So just to let you know, I'm married to Ayodele. Been married now, 28 years, I think it is. Is it 28? It's almost 28, oh gosh. Feeling old. We now have 5 children. I say we now have 5 children because I lost my sister a couple of years ago and have the privilege of bringing up her own 2 children. So I've got 5 wonderful children, all fantastic children. I'm doing this in time because that's how I am. I would, at the panel session, I would take any questions that come then. Well, thank you so much for having me.